Hi you guys, Mandy here with VIP Kid, my other job besides being a Beachbody coach. And I wanted to make a very fast video for you guys since my 8.5-month-old is here on the floor trying to get this in before he starts crying, about catch, correct, repeat. One of the things that I get most of all in my parent feedback, so far I have 5-star or 5 Apple feedback across the board. Every single parent that comments in my feedback says that I do a very good job about correcting their pronunciation. That seems to be the number one thing that parents really, really appreciate when I am teaching for VIP Kid. So I wanted to share with you a couple tips and tricks about how to correct pronunciation when you are teaching in your classes the correct way, so that hopefully you can teach better classes and you too can make a difference in these kids' lives and get some good feedback as well. So first of all, for CCR, catch, correct, repeat, you need to know when to catch the mistake and when to correct it. One of the things that I really hone in on is the consonant sounds, especially the V's. The V sound is a very difficult sound to make for second language learners because a lot of times they do not have that sound in their language, and so they will not correctly form the V sound. And you'll notice a lot of times in our phonetic readers, they'll have to read things that have the V sound over and over again. So what I like to do, if I'm noticing that a kid is saying the V like an F, instead of van, they say fan, I'll say, no, van. And I'll point to my mouth like this, and I'll stick my teeth on my lips, and I'll go, and I'll make that sound over and over again. Van, van. When you're trying to correct pronunciation and you're really trying to teach them that they need to emphasize a sound, overdo it initially so that they can see how to form that sound, and then you're going to back off. Sometimes I'll even laugh because you want them to know that when they make that V sound, it tickles. Note it. Try it yourself. Van, van, or Victor. When you make the V sound correctly, it tickles your tongue, or it tickles the top of your lips, doesn't it? And so even with my younger kids, I'll do it so much and I'll go van. And then when they do it and they feel their mouth tickling, I'll say yes. And then I'll say van, 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 van. Good job, And then you can back off and say it normally. Van, van. Good job. So then, you can go ahead and have them do that over and over again. One thing that I noticed today, actually, in one of my classes was one of the kids was not saying the G sound at the end when he was reading the hog saw a dot. He was saying the hawk. He wasn't saying the G sound correctly. And so I said, no, hog, g. And he still didn't get it. And so I said, g, hog. And I showed him my throat. And at first he was like, what is she doing? Hog. And I put my hand here. He was a very low kid, so, it was a lot of TPR. And I said, hog. hog. And then he finally got it. And it was weird because his mom was sitting there and she did it too, hog. When you make the G sound correctly, you hear it, you feel it in your neck, hog. Oh, hog. And then you can back off, hog. The hog saw a dot. Oh, I get it, hog, hog. Okay, and then you can do it correctly. So, does this take time? Yes, it does. And that's the other balance. When you do catch, correct, repeat, it helps if you know the student, if this is one of your regulars. Is this something that they're going to need a lot of? Because then you're always playing that card of, is this something that I'm going to be spending a lot of time of here? So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on these other slides here. Look at your target objectives for the lesson. Have they already met their target objectives and this is something that they're going to review? Do you feel like this is something that you need to go into such great depth with and spend a lot of time on? Sometimes I'll only correct one time. No, hug. And then they do it and I hear it. Okay, yes, good. And then we move forward. Other times, if I see that a kid is really struggling, I might spend longer on the pronunciation part and not as much in the other parts of my lesson. But has it paid off? Yes, because I still am getting that feedback that the parents really truly appreciate the fact that we are spending more time on that pronunciation piece. And I think that it's because this is just my theory, so just me, one random girl in America. But I think it's because we are native speakers. And can they get English education in China? Yes, they can. They can get grammar all day long from anybody. Can they get pronunciation from a native English speaker? No. So the fact that we are really honing in on practicing this pronunciation, I think that's, bottom line, I think that's what the parents are paying for, for that connection with the English, the native English speaker, the practicing the pronunciation. So that's why I use my judgment and I figure out when I want to take a little bit more time with the kids. So the G sound, the V sound, sometimes the T, I notice. And then if you have an older student, you can kind of preface it by when you catch, correct, repeat, and you have them repeat a word, you can say, I want you to say it again because I want you to do it correctly so that you learn it correctly, And my level 4s and my level 5s really appreciate that, because they want to excel. Those are the kids that are always pushing for those 5 stars. They really like the rewards where we have the trophies. They're always wanting those trophies, those medals, So that's my thoughts on the catch, correct, repeat. I noticed that it was in our weekly update for the, our little newsletter that came out. And I just had to throw my 2 cents in that it is worth, when you hear a kid struggling with their pronunciation, go ahead and catch it. And don't be afraid to say, no, listen, it's okay to do that. It's not going to offend them. The parents really, truly appreciate you doing that. It's not going to hurt their feelings. And it's even, I'm trying to think, today I had a kid who wasn't putting the M on the end of the word name. My name is James. And I had him say, no, name. My name is James. Name is James. And then he did it a couple times. Name. And it was just because he was rushing. but the fact that I stopped and I corrected him, it helped. So you don't have to spend a lot of time on it unless, again, you feel like it's one of those trickier sounds. So anyways, I'd love to hear in the comments below if this helped you and if you have any other sticking points. I am by no means a speech therapist, but I do have phonics background. I was going to be a reading specialist and had to take some phonics courses, and then I stopped one or two courses away from getting my my degree because I realized I didn't really exactly want to go that route. But I do have some training in it, so I know a little bit, a little bit to help, but not enough to be exactly certified. So there's always people that know more than me. I am the first one to admit that there are always people that know more than me. So, but I do like to help where I can. So anyways, I hope that helped. Catch, correct, repeat. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to correct a student. You're not going to hurt their feelings, and you're not going to make the parents mad. They will like you in the end, I promise. All right? Thank you very much. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.